Back once again for the renegade master. 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 Back once again for the renegade master.
Hello my renegades and welcome back. And what are we getting back into? Love is Blind UK episode 9, and it's called He Wants a Prenup. I do know that the reunion is coming up tonight, as again I will try and get these reactions, reviews, breakdowns out before the reunion. If not, then hang tight with me because I will watch the reunion and get that video out for you all after I have done these. Okay, so before we get into this video, as I always ask, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button so you know I'm doing videos. Please comment, like, share and do the good things that you do, because I am on the road to 1k. I thank you all for those that have actually come in and subscribed to my channel thus far, and I hope to continue doing all the things that you like. Don't forget, I do movie reviews and other series reviews too. If there's anything that you'd like me to look at too, to give my thoughts on, to give my voice to, then please let me know in the comments. Anyway, shall we talk about the mess of these episodes, shall we? Right, so it looks like Stephen and Sabrina are really getting on with each other, and Demi and Ollie be getting on as well. It seems as though as well Nicole is going to meet Benaya's family. I think he meets his mom. He meets his mom and meets his sister as well. Nicole talks about how she's of course nervous, because you always do get nervous meeting somebody's family for the first time because you don't know how they're going to take you. Benaya talks about leaving the pods and basically highlights to Nicole that when he did leave the pods, he wasn't doing too great emotionally, especially when he knew that she'd gone for someone that wasn't for her at all, and he'd lost out to that person. Basically, he talks about how his mum and his sister did not see him in a good way. He wasn't well. So my thing is how they're then going to correlate that with Benaya being with Nicole now, the person who essentially caused all that hurt to their son and their brother at the end of the day. Nicole feels as though it would be a make or break situation for them. So Gabby is his mom and Eliza is his sister. They didn't look too happy when they first come into the house. They said their hellos, they greeted as much as you can do, but you could tell there was tension there, and you could tell that Nicole was quite nervous, and especially more so nervous now that she knows that Benaya wasn't in a good way emotionally once he got back home. So So Gabby, his mom, then shares how Benaya was over that period of time, and basically they said that he wouldn't eat, and she said they had not saw him in a state like that before. And do you know what? For me, people say, "Oh, that's so sweet. It really hurt him. The actions did." No. That would give me cause for caution to say that this man literally broke down emotionally over a relationship that he was trying to foster within the pods didn't go his way. Benaya became so emotionally invested in Nicole that didn't even think about the aspects of, wait up, hold up, is she on the same plane that I am? Because she may well not be, and go with someone else, which is what did happen. And the only reason, as I said, that Nicole did what she did is because she didn't get the validation she was looking for from Benaya, because she initially was going to go for Benaya 100%. I believe that was going to happen, but the way in which they're describing how Benaya broke down after that gives me some cause for concern in terms of how he's going to deal with situations that may come up that may test his emotional resolve. Nicole does take some ownership in regards to what she heard, the choices that she made, and the stuff that she did in regards to Sam, but also some ownership needs to be taken on Benaya too, because it takes two to tango at the end of the day. So it wasn't just Nicole who swerved her way into that situation. Benaya kind of helped her swerve her way in that situation, so Benaya should have took some responsibility and accountability too. So Nicole does share that she was married, but she remained single for 3 years to work on herself. And I thought to myself, yeah, clearly decision making was not one of those things that you worked on, my love, because I swear to God, if you did, you wouldn't have ended up in the situation that you did with Sam at the end of the day. Benaya does bring up the Sam situation, and he brings up the Sam situation because his sister asked him if he and Nicole have arguments. From what I've seen, they don't really have any arguments in that, but Benaya then expanded on the fact that, you know what he said to Sam, and his mom turns around to Benaya and says, but you always saw through him right away. And I'm like, in Nicole's defense though, it was hard for her to see right through Sam in the initial stages, because the women weren't allowed anywhere near the men's quarters. They don't mix like that when it comes to these pods at all. They have to get a gander of a person as they're talking to them. Where Nicole went wrong is when she had so many people telling her that Sam is not right for her, that there's some situation there with Sam, that people were just not taking him at face value. Namely Benaya and namely Jasmine told her this. Nicole herself even had the same feeling when she was talking to Sam, but yet she ignored those warning signs. But then Benaya goes on to discussing the thing that basically Sam had told him. He didn't say it in so many words, but the way in which he did say it made it sound like an accusation when he turned around to Nicole and said, well, you know, more experiences that Nicole had with Sam will probably affect him more. I'm like, dude, really? Really? Sam did what he did in saying what he did to get at Benaya, yeah. And that's the only way he knew he could get at Benaya, because he thought Benaya needed to be taken down a peg or two. That's how Sam thought of it at the end of the day. But just as Benaya was incensed that Sam had brought about that situation or talked about that situation that was private between him and Nicole, Benaya shouldn't then mention that to anybody else. Nobody else at all, unless he's going to speak to Nicole about what Sam actually divulged to him and let her have the right to respond at the end of the day. So, to be fair, all I'm going to say is everybody has had their own experiences with different people within their time within the pods and on the show itself. At the end of the day, Nicole and Sam had their experience, had their little story to talk about. Now it's Nicole and Benaya's turn to have their experience and have their story to talk about. At the end of the day, Benaya is the one that got the girl. Benaya is the one where she decided she'd made the wrong decision. He's decided to make a go of it with Nicole, yeah. He's decided that he wants to marry this girl, or hopefully marry this girl at the end of this experiment. So, to be fair, he needs to let the Sam situation go, because if he keeps beating her around the freaking head with it, it's not fair on Nicole at the end of the day, because the same way Nicole's had experiences, the same way Benaya's had experiences, he needs to just let it go. We go to Freddie meeting Catherine's friends. That did not go well. It didn't go well at all. A friend turned around and said that she expected Freddie to be really pale, and I just didn't get that. I was like, what, huh? What do you mean? So they had an idea of who Freddie was by probably talking to Catherine, I don't know, or who she would pick, because not forgetting that, you know what, Sam looks exactly like her ex, so we kind of know the type of person that she would have gone for, to be honest with you, and it weren't a Freddie at the end of the day. So it does come out that Freddie is a funeral director. And the only thing I can say is that these two of Catherine's friends come off a little bit superficial, as does Catherine when she's with them. So you kind of get the gist of what she's like when she's with her friends. So it is kind of awkward. The conversation is stilted. It is awkward. I ain't going to lie about that. Freddie says that he does love Catherine and does want to marry her, but has a lot of doubts because he believes that they are different in everything. So one of the friends asked, do you think Cat is high maintenance? Freddie was honest and he said, yeah, a little bit. I was like, okay. I mean, Catherine was smiling at that part, but she will have Freddie afterwards. Let's just put it that way. Because Catherine knows how to put a show on for others. That she does very, very well. I don't think Catherine was honest in her feelings once during the discussion that happened. Freddie has no filter. That's the issue with Freddie. He has no filter and he says it as it is. No matter how it comes out, he just says it as it is. Her friends didn't like that at all because Freddie does worry that him and Catherine's lifestyles are very different, and he is worried that in terms of how he is, he's a bit of a homebody. Yeah, he doesn't really like, not one of them people to go to all them bougie places all the time. He worries that he won't satisfy her. Her friends trying to say and vocalise that, you know what, Catherine doesn't do that all day, every day. But that's all that Catherine flipping talks about when she's talking about her friends and what they do when they go back home. She's always out somewhere. So to Freddie, that's giving the impression that she does it all the time. So now her and her friends, Catherine's sitting there, don't defend Freddie, no way, shape or form, are now vocalising everything that they think towards Freddie and basically bringing up this whole materialistic side of Catherine, because now Catherine is questioning, so is that how you see me, as materialistic? I don't think Freddie meant it that way. I think Freddie has no filter but doesn't necessarily make his thoughts known eloquently in that sense. He doesn't know how to say what he needs to say without jumbling up his shit, because he says it as he thinks it. And Catherine then taking offence of what he says, because what Freddie is saying isn't necessarily an insult or a bad thing. It's just a worry that he has. It's just how he terms his words. So Freddie felt that Catherine has acted how he saw her to be fair. And Ollie, if you think about it, when Ollie and Catherine were dating as well, Ollie did believe that Catherine could be quite superficial, because the clubs and the restaurant or the bar that she says that she frequented with her friends, that's how Ollie pinned her to be when she talked about certain clubs that she'd gone to, even though she stated, oh, it was just for my birthday, No. That's how Ollie felt. Okay. I don't think Freddie gets Catherine, and I don't think Catherine gets Freddie at all. I think as well, if they said yes to each other right now, it would actually be a match made in hell, because there's a lot of issues that these two need to deal with before they even say yes to each other at the end of the day. So you see Catherine goes off at Freddie in front of her friends for, the materialistic comment, and she thinks she's proving herself to be anything but, and feels that Freddie is picking on her. And I'm like, do you know what? Don't ask the man questions if you really don't want to hear the answers, like seriously, because some answers hurt and some answers can be brutal when it comes to the truth. If you don't want to hear that and you want someone to pussyfoot around you, don't ask them nothing. Just pretend everything is all flowery and sunshine and light at the end of the day. So basically, she turns around and she tells Freddie to go and get a drink. That's how she says it to him. She tells him to go away and get a drink from the bar. I was like, yeah, Freddie, she ain't for you. She is not for you. So her friends do see Freddie as nice, but believe that he worries too much. And to be honest, I think Freddie has valid concerns, but Catherine refuses to listen to him. She wants Freddie to be the bad guy and the monster in her story at the end of the day. But that it ain't him. It really ain't him, it's her. Yes, Freddie makes mistakes. Yes, Freddie says things off the cuff, and Catherine's reeling from it. But then if she gives him the chance to explain what he means, maybe she'll understand a little bit better where he's coming from. So I think Catherine literally wants to be Miss Perfect Sunshine and Light for this man, and she's coming up with flaws and she doesn't know how to deal with it. She don't know how to deal with it when Freddie talks about those flaws. So Catherine does turn around and tell her friends that he's talked about a prenup. They're all up in arms now, saying, oh, that's quite controlling. I don't see it as controlling. It's a protection. But as I've already said, yeah, if you're getting married, the woman's your wife. You cannot leave her out of shit. Yes, you can both, if it's a prenup, have those conversations to say what goes into a prenup. But my thing is I don't think what Freddie was talking about was actually a prenup. He was talking about if they got married and he suddenly, like, you know, had his demise, passed away, would she mind if all his assets that he managed to build together go to his sister? That's what he's talking about. So say if they ain't been married for that long, I think Freddie was more thinking of the impacts that would have on his sister, and namely his brother as well, if he wasn't there. And would he really be able to trust Catherine to ensure that they got what they needed? That's how I'm seeing it. That's how I'm seeing it. He never said that Catherine wouldn't get nothing. He was just talking about his assets going to his sister. We don't even know what those assets are, and neither does Catherine at the end of the day, because I haven't had those conversations. So we go back to Nicole and Benaya, and Benaya is talking to his mum, and his mum is basically giving him the seal of approval. She thinks Nicole is lovely, and she is glad that she's seeing the happiness in Benaya again. Again, I ain't sure about Benaya. That's just me. The way how he conducts himself sometimes, and just a little bit, there's something there. So Nicole and Benaya's sister Eliza were talking, and Eliza was basically expressing to Nicole that she has a good feeling about Nicole, and Nicole does say that she loves Benaya. And Eliza did talk about a bit more about Benaya and his lifestyle, and says Benaya is a bit of a nomad and he actually cannot stay still. So this is why I've been asking throughout my episodes, how is that going to compute in a marriage for them two? Because that would be something I'd be worried about. Like, I don't mind if we ain't got no children or no commitments. I don't mind doing that nomadic lifestyle with you if that's something I was into. But once it comes to like discussing children and looking at sitting down and putting down roots, because that's what you have to do with children. When they're younger, yes, you can move them about this, that and the other. But as they get older, especially when they get into education and all other things, they're going to need a place to be stable in, basically. So how will then that compute to them two? And Benaya's nomadic lifestyle, will he literally settle himself down in one space, or will he get claustrophobic and want to move again? So yeah, we'll see how that goes as time goes on with them two. So Maria meets Tom's family, and Bobby meets Jasmine's mum. All I can say, Jasmine's mum was a fucking handful, weren't she? Jesus. But you know what? No. She's from, I kind of understood it because she was from the Philippines, and there's certain mothers that go on like that when they're from certain cultures and certain backgrounds and from certain countries. But my God, and Bobby said, wow, is all I can say. Wow. So Jasmine is prepping Bobby before he meets her mum. Thank God she bloody did, because he needed that prep. Right, so Jasmine is telling Bobby about her mum is basically a straight shooter, and she may say things that are hurtful, not just fucking hurtful, bloody spiteful and disgusting in my books, to be honest with you. But Jasmine puts it down as her mum looking out for her, and I was like, my child, please no. It went a bit and beyond Jasmine's mum protecting her child, because at the end of the day, it's also kind of like toxic parenting. That's all I could see, because Jasmine's a grown-ass woman. She didn't need her mum to protect her like that. Let's just put it that way. Now I kind of see where Jasmine probably gets some of her learned behaviour from at the end of the day when it comes to men and how she deals with them. So Maria and Tom, they're seeing his sisters, his half sisters from his dad's side, because as we know, his mum's not a part of this show and doesn't want to be a part of this show. So Maria is talking about how she's confident in what she says. Tom does bring up the disagreements that they've had, and Maria does talk about how she was raised and what she's used to. So she explained within her culture, the man is seen as a provider. and this is where I will keep on saying that this is going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back for these two. I don't see Tom being that type of provider for Maria in the slightest. I don't see Tom falling in to the faith and the cultural norms of Maria's family and how it works. I don't see him doing that in the slightest. So Maria, they talked about Maria moving in with Tom, but Maria is talking about how she's not 100% comfortable paying someone else's mortgage if she moved in with Tom. I was like, how does that work? Because if you actually get married, yeah, then that becomes your mortgage automatically too. So you're not paying for somebody else's mortgage. You are paying for your own mortgage unless you both are able to put money together and go and get a house together, so then it's equal 50-50 if that's, or 100-100 if that's what she's looking for. I just didn't get that in the slightest. So you're telling me you get married but live apart from Tom because you really don't want to pay somebody else's mortgage? That's for me, that's kind of looking at it singularly, because if you were both dating, then I'd understand that that's not something you necessarily want to do. You go and spend your time with them, go holidays, do this, do that and that, but don't really want to move in with them, because at the end of the day, you lose your space that you're in and essentially paying somebody else's mortgage and you're not getting no dividends from it. I get that. But if you are married, it's different, is it not? Anyway, so the two sisters do turn around and say they get where Maria is coming from. I'm like, somebody needs to explain it to me then, because I really don't get where she's coming from. And they're basically thinking that with them two, the dates are starting to creep in. And Megan was saying, which is one of his sisters, you can't marry someone without knowing where you stand with financial things. And again, this is why I don't understand why these people, when they come on these shows, don't have these conversations. It makes no sense to me. There's only been one couple that I've seen on Love is Blind, and it was the US one that had those conversations, and that was the I can't remember what her bloody name is now. I can't remember what the name is, but the total toxic couple that shouldn't have been together, which didn't end up together, where they did talk about the financial stances of each other, and the man basically was in debt, basically, and he's literally paying that debt off. You know, the one that had that we thought probably rented that flat. It weren't his flat, and he had a shoe on the bed and all sorts of other women's paraphernalia in the drawer and stuff like that. You all know the one I'm talking about. Yeah, they're the only ones that had the conversation when it came to financial standing and where they were. I don't know if them two will say yes to each other either, to be honest with you. I just don't see that relationship flourishing in the slightest. So then we go to Catherine and Freddie. And Freddie meets Catherine's mum and dad. So basically, Catherine is happy to have this meeting because she wants clarity, because if there's no connection to Freddie between the parents and Freddie, there'll be a no-go in her books. So they basically talked about her adoption, and her parents talked about how she was a perfect baby, and they'd essentially had Catherine from 11 weeks. So essentially, yeah, they are her parents because they brought her up. Basically, they brought her up to the person that she is today. Yes, she's going to have those overarching thoughts because of the fact that it probably wouldn't have been until she got older that she'd realised, or they told her or informed her that she was actually adopted. But in essence, she is going to be her parents' child. So Freddie explains how he feels, and he talks about the ups and downs and disagreements that they've had, and he wants to be 100% sure for Catherine. Freddie is right where he says he wants it to be perfect because he doesn't want to get divorced, but Freddie has realised that everything is not perfect and he doesn't want to set himself up to fail. True words have never been spoken, to be honest with you. So I'm more understanding of where Freddie is come from. I don't know where the fuck Catherine's coming from at the end of the day, and I'm still trying to work that out in my head. So Catherine's dad did say to Freddie, you have to follow your heart and not your head. Freddie said his feelings for Kat are real, but he doesn't like making any promises to the parents, because at the end of the day, if you don't go through with it, it's going to be heartbreaking, not just for the person you say no to, but also for the parents that are there with them. So Catherine basically sees herself getting married to Freddie, but she says she doesn't want to force the situation from now. She wants to step back and let it happen. Okay. Marissa is Jasmine's mother. She just stands on the threshold, and Bobby has to be the one to say, are you coming in? Because that was hella awkward. Bobby even tried to hug her and say, welcome to, our humble abode, come on in. And she was still quite standoffish with him, and I thought, oh shit, there's gonna be trouble. There's gonna be trouble ahead. That's all I thought in my head when I was like, yeah, no, it's not gonna work. So you see Jasmine's mother just keep watching Bobby, and it's kind of uncomfortably weird. That's all I can describe it being. So Mom goes straight to the questions and lets Bobby and all I thought was, let's hope Bobby gets her approval, because my God, Bobby sees himself and Jasmine being together forever. So the mama with the questions was really putting Bobby on the spot. She was not happy that he has not had any length of relationship. And I'm like, that's not always a bad thing, because situations happen between people, and relationships don't always last forever and a day. You hope they do when they start, but cracks starts to form, and it's hard to keep that relationship intact. So the reason why Bobby came to Love is Blind is to literally find somebody that he would be on par with and they would be on par with him. So then came the education talk, and Bobby talked about how he didn't go to university. And at the end of the day, to be fair, not everybody is cut out for higher education. It's one of those, you either do or you don't. Mum did not look impressed by that. I'm glad Jasmine at that point spoke up in defense of Bobby, because I was kind of thinking, my girl, are you gonna let this woman keep coming at your man, even though I know she's your mum and you have high levels of respect for her and you love her to bits? But right now, this woman is a one-woman show to wrecking your possible relationship with this man. You're gonna end up old and alone if it has anything to do with your mum. Let's just put it that way. Jasmine's mum is rude. She all but called Bobby stupid. I was like, wow. She said to him, sometimes it's very difficult to communicate with an uneducated person. I was speechless. Oh, Jasmine's mother is something else, ain't she? Oh God. Oh, she's not sunshine and pricking light, is she? So she has a perception of men from 2 failed marriages that she's basically given to Jasmine, which Jasmine sees as normal. It ain't. The way her mom carried on was not normal. It really wasn't. Even Bobby became offended by the woman, and Jasmine looked about. She was about to cry and get upset. And I'm like, my girl, this is at the point where you need to go chat with your mama, because no. So I was like, who hurt this woman? Like, seriously, who hurt this woman? Can we bring them back over here and give them a good 2-2 pat? Because my God, you did a number on this woman. Like, seriously? So Bobby handled it well. He really did. He held his own. Point where she's talking about how she's been through 2 failed marriages and she didn't want Jasmine to go through it. But then I was thinking, fair enough, but Jasmine is a grown-ass woman and needs to make the good choices for herself. It doesn't mean that her marriage won't work. It doesn't mean that Jasmine will follow in her mother's footsteps. She's a completely different person altogether. And this is what I mean. Some parents need to stop doing this to their kids. Like, they ain't living their life. Let them grow and learn about who they are. Being hurt is not a nice thing, but it's a part of life. It's what you grow into and how you make it happen for yourself once you come out of that space of being hurt. I'm like, be there for your child, but literally don't ostracize them from the man who is actually trying to do right by your child. And that's what Bobby is trying to be. And the mom is just like, yeah, nah, I'm sorry, Jasmine, no disrespect intended, or I don't really like you. I really don't. I don't like your mum. The way she was condescending towards Bobby when she talked to him. And then Bobby talked about moving to London. And the way she was like, oh, you know, London's so expensive. Making assumptions that Bobby couldn't afford his shit. And Bobby turned around and says, I can well afford it at the end of the day. I'm just like, come on, man. Give the guy a beat. Like, honestly, give the guy a beat. So she then talking about how she wants to be in all aspects of Jasmine's life. And I'm like, this is where Jasmine needs to put boundaries in place. And Jasmine tried, and I'm like, it ain't gonna work. Like, it literally ain't gonna work. Because Jasmine has allowed her mum to be involved in all aspects of her life when it came to decision making and everything. Let's just put it that way. And the fact that her mum felt so comfortable to say the things that she was saying was just cause as to how far Jasmine has allowed this her mum to encroach within her life. Because her mum was coming off the jealous best friend. Like, practically coming off like the just best friend. Even with her words, when she says to Bobby, Jasmine tells me everything. I am her best friend, her only friend. That shit was unbelievable. That's all I can say. It was unbelievable. So Jasmine said to her mum that Bobby will be the father of your grandchildren, and I cannot bring up every little argument that we may have to you, as if I did that, you will bring it up again in company, yeah, and then I'm gonna have to basically be putting out fires between me and Bobby. Ain't gonna roll. With her chest, her mama said, no, I think you have to tell me. I was like, somebody needs some help over here, because damn, even Jasmine was looking at her like, what the fuck, am I talking double dutch over here? Wow, it was bad. It was not good. So Jasmine said that she is sure, and even then her mother would not give her grace. Like, honestly, would not give her grace. She told Bobby that, you know, he better be loyal, and if you ever have a secret, don't you dare lie to me. At this point, Bobby did good to stay at that table, because no, I would have had to get up and said, you know what, you talk to your mum. I need to get up. I need to take a breather. How disrespectful can one person be? I can see it now. Bobby marries Jasmine. His life will be made a living hell by this woman. So, oh my Lord. So Bobby went off to tidy up and left Jasmine and her mum to talk. But in his VC, he said if he and Jasmine did get married, there has to be a lot of boundaries in place between them and his mother, basically, because it's going to be his and Jasmine's marriage, not Bobby, Jasmine and Marissa's marriage at the end of the day. Jasmine basically says to her mum, why can't I be happy? And mum said, well, basically, how long will that last? I don't want you to make the same mistakes I did. And I think the key thing that mama is forgetting here is it's Jasmine's marriage, ain't her mum's marriage. Yeah. So what she needs to do is allow for Jasmine, as the grown woman that she is, make her decisions how she sees fit, and step back and allow for Jasmine to do that. At the end of the day, it's healthy to make mistakes. Maria's mistakes ain't Jasmine's mistakes, and her mama needs to realise that. Jasmine, give it to her, sings Bobby's praises at the end of the day. Her mum then goes contrite and says, well, I'm interfering, but I mean well. I was like, nah, that whole scenario did not mean well at all. She is just passed her traumas onto her daughter. I just hope that if Bobby and Jasmine do get married and they do make a go of it, that Jasmine's able to like talk out her issues to Bobby properly, rather than like do whatever she saw when she was growing up. Because no, just no. So then it comes to wedding dress day and suit picking. Freddie feels like he doesn't want what's happening at the moment when Catherine snaps at him, which we all knew. It's just not great in their world at all. I kind of think Stephen and Sabrina will say yes. I have doubts about Benaya and Nicole getting married. I don't think it's a yes with Tom and Maria at all. As I said, Freddie and Catherine, it's a hell no for me in my books. Demi and Ollie, I'm hoping for a yes. Jasmine and Bobby, I was kind of thinking, I hope thinking she would say yes, but he would say no after that meeting with the mother. But do you know what? I don't know. It's a 2-horse race at the end of the day. I ain't gonna lie. I do love Demi. When Demi was trying on her dress, she looked gorgeous, and she made the whole speech in terms of how this show has literally made her look at herself and feel confident more in herself and what it is that she wants. Love Demi. I'll be honest, and it's not because I don't really like Catherine. Yeah, her dress was just not my style. I didn't like it. I really didn't. Freddie's basically speaking to his boys, and they say that they've never heard it in his voice about Catherine saying he loves her. And he does say that he loves Catherine, but I honestly don't see it. I really don't with them two. Sabrina and Stephen went to Kent for their last date. Demi and Ollie go to the arcade for their final date. So it's like winner chicken dinner because they're both competitive as hell. Benaya and Nicole go on a barge for their final date. Sabrina and Stephen feel good about the wedding. They also talk about them saying yes to each other at the wedding, but we'll see, because no one prepares for a no at all, do they? They're all expecting yeses at the end of the day. Catherine and Freddie are making pottery, and Catherine is confident in terms of where they're going now. Freddie be smiling, but all I kept on questioning is where his head is actually at, because he smiled, but that smile was not meeting the eyes. He did not look happy at all. So Freddie did give her the reassurance that he does love her. Ali is just feeling Demi. Them two are just feeling Demi, and they're so tight and close to each other. I just love seeing them together, to be fair. Maria and Tom are out for their last date. They both said they don't feel nervous, as again, I don't see with them at all. Maria's basically saying that she's going to integrate her father into the marriage, and talking about how she's going to do a speech to her dad and all this X, Y, and Z. The hope is that Tom says yes then, and so you get to see that, but I don't think he's going to say yes. Because throughout that whole conversation, Tom looks suspiciously offish, but that may just be how he presents himself. But I just don't see him saying yes to Maria in the slightest. So Ben and Nicole, don't get me wrong, they do look good together, but I think the issue that's going to come up for them is going to be Benaya's nomadic lifestyle and his ability, if he can, to put down roots. Yeah, I don't know. Benaya is excited for them and what the future holds. And he has been single for 10 or 11 years. And I was like, well, why was that then? Like, seriously? That shocked me, that did. So Jasmine and Bobby did the London Eye. Bobby says that he's going to move to London to be with Jasmine, and Jasmine wants him to, basically. I say the jury is still out for me on those two, because they have the words, they have the pretty heartfelt phrases, but will it compute to I do's? And that is where the episode ended, because now we're going to be coming up to the weddings, and I'll be back in quick succession with those videos. As I always ask, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button so when you know when I'm doing videos. Please comment, like, share and do all the good things that you do, because I am on the road to 1K. And I'll speak to you all again soon, my people. Peace out.